It's time for our legal counsel segment. 436-1212 is the number to call right now if you have a question for criminal defense attorney Charlie O'Hara. He's here each and every week to help us out. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Hey, you know, we just did a story a little while ago about the 50th anniversary of the case that brought us the Miranda rights. Talk a little bit about that. As a defense attorney, this is something that comes up for you all the time.
It's something we use every day, and it's really kind of a good thing. If people don't know, it's where they read your rights, like the right to remain silent, the right to an attorney, and there's a whole bunch of them they go through. And usually, the law enforcement officer will either have a card that he or she reads from, or when they take you into custody and actually put you in the city building or the sheriff's office or the jail, they'll have a form you read and then check off to make sure you've done those. But most people think whenever you're arrested, they have to read your rights, and that's really not what it applies to. It only applies to where they're asking you questions that might get you in trouble, might incriminate you while you're in custody. So we get all kinds of people that come in our office and go, oh, we're going to win this case. They didn't ask me they didn't read me my rights.
But they don't have to if they didn't ask you any questions.
That's right. Yeah. Or if they ask you questions before you're in custody.
So a classic example of some of us watching too much television.
That's right, and people think that all the time. Yes, they do. I mean, you actually have to be in custody. So we have all these arguments about whether somebody is in custody or not, and that in custody means free to go. So you get in all kinds of arguments whether they're free to go, and the police try to get around the rule by saying, hey, would you like to come in and talk to us and tell us what's going on in this case? You're free to leave if you want to leave, and you can get up and leave. And so we get into all kinds of arguments about whether they were really free to leave and they were really in custody and should they have read their rights at that time.
So how often does it come up, Charlie? I mean, how often will you see a case, especially in this day and age, where maybe something does get thrown out because of a Miranda violation?
Well, it comes up quite a lot, actually. It's argued quite a lot because it's kind of a gray area if you think about it. If you get stopped on a traffic case, were you speeding? Well, they can ask you that because you're really not in custody at that stage. Now, if something else happens and they begin to get you out and they arrest you then for something, put you in handcuffs, then they have to read you your rights. So we get in an argument, where did that start? Where were you really in custody? So I'd say it happened. I mean, that argument probably, we look at that probably in almost every case that comes in that's got any real criminal implications in it.
So a major landmark Supreme Court case.
Oh, it is, for sure, without a doubt.
Again, 436-1212, if you want to get one call in here for Charlie, he's going to be with us for just a short period more, and we will try to get that legal question answered for you if maybe something's been out there affecting you. What else is going on? Anything new in the legal world? Things are always changing for you guys.
Well, things change all the time. I mean, the laws change, the penalties change, how they enforce it at times. Obviously, we've had some political change, and it really doesn't change the laws, but sometimes it changes what's emphasized and what's not emphasized. And some people don't really realize, but actually the United States Attorney's Office is actually controlled directly by the President. And when in our district and in every district in the United States, the United States Attorney for our district or our state is appointed directly by the president, and it changes every time a president changes.
So you get a new president in, and maybe this president likes to enforce something that the previous administration didn't, or vice versa. Yeah. That definitely changes how cases get prosecuted.
Well, I think they enforce all the laws, but sometimes they emphasize more than others, and they say, well, let the states take care of this, and I'll take care of this part. And so they kind of divide it up. So it changes all the time.
Interesting. All right. Well, thanks so much, Charlie.
Sure.
You'll be on vacation next week, so have a good time, and best of luck.